Welcome everyone. We have a couple of things to talk about today.
Not everybody is here.
Who's missing?
Everyone. We are only 7.
Yeah.
Nick, Piotr.
Bonjour, monsieur.
Okay.
Nick is here.
I'll just start with something light, and easy. If you don't hang out on IRC, the IRC channel for Orchard has had a lot of activity recently, so it's a fun place to hang out. I pasted in the chat window the URL for a web interface for IRC. If you don't want to install a full IRC client. But, if you want to go there and hang out with other Orchard developers, there is activity there, so it's fun. It's like a permanent podcast meeting in writing. So that's that.
And they are not using Jabber instead, I don't know.
No. What's Jabber? Seriously.
That's actually, Sebastian, that's ironic, because I was speaking to a guy on there last night who's trying to write a Jabber replacement inside of Orchard. So I don't know why he's on IRC doing that, but
Because technology from the 80s or the 70s rock. Okay, so Sebastian, do you want to talk about what?
Right now, or do we do the usual stuff before? I don't know.
I don't know. Do we have any demos today?
I don't. I have just fixed bugs.
Yeah, you've been busy fixing bugs. Let's write a Template client for Orchard. Yeah.
I don't know what it means.
So that you can do command line remotely, maybe. I don't know.
It already exists, I think.
Yeah, I know it does. Everything exists. So
let me share.
There are no new ideas.
I will share my screen.
You know what is always done by the forces of darkness, yes.
So Melek, can you see my screen?
It's loading. Okay, I got it.
I can see it now.
Okay. So this is the Orchard log, okay? And you might notice something at the top of the log.
Default. There is a new default drop. So why is that, Sebastian?
So we are releasing an out-of-band Orchard version for a security vulnerability, which has been found in every Orchard version and needs to be patched. But don't worry, it's since V1, which means it has always been there. So it's not one more day which will change everything, and no one knows how to reproduce it. Well, no one. I do. The security company which found the vulnerability knows too, but is not releasing how to repro it, and it's not how to say high risk vulnerability.
It's not elevation of privilege or anything like that.
So
what does it do?
So let me explain. So the plan right now is that we will publish patches for every Orchard version before 1.6, like 1.0. Even for 1.0, we are raising a patch, not a new version of Orchard, just a patch that you can apply on a running instance for each version. But for 1.6, we will replace 1.6.0 by 1.6.1 in place of the Orchard version. So all new installations will use the 1.6.1, which will be safe by default.
1x is also patched.
1x is already patched. So if you're running 1x, you don't have any issue because I patched it 2 weeks ago. So it's safe. I will point you to the explicit change set, to the specific change set, so you can apply the patch if you are not explicitly on this one. And that's it for the plan. So we release the files, and right after the meeting, or maybe before the end of the meeting, we will publish the official announcement on the website, on blog post and Twitter, so people are aware about the new version. And there will be also a message on the advisory dashboard zone. You know that you have a dashboard on the bottom right corner. There is a specific mention that we can put on every Orchard instance, so we will do that. So the vulnerability is an non-persistent XSS, cross-site scripting. The idea is that a bad user could create on a specific page or chart or whatever website, could create a button that if you own an Orchard website and you click on this button, could redirect you to your website and inject some script. So the risk is that if you own an Orchard website and you, by mistake, click on a button on a website you don't know, it could target you specifically on this website. So this is really low possibility, but there is a possibility. Okay, so I have to know you have a website, and I have to know that you have an account on this website, and you can do important things on this website. So it's really specific. The culprit is the comments module since V1. And,
replace this, though.
Sorry?
You replaced the comments module in 1.7.
7, yes, but there was still the same issue, so I fixed it also in 1x. The same issue was there. It's about validating values in the form. So the fix is to apply the patch, okay, on your instance. And to mitigate the issue, what you can just do is check that if you're not using the comments module, disable it. Okay? So if you have an Orchard instance and you don't use the comments module, disable it. If you use it, you can also disable it in the meantime while you apply the patch, and you will be safe. But usually, not all the websites use the comments module, so they are safe. But be careful, even if you don't use comments, the comments module might be enabled. So you still have to disable it.
Yeah,
So
it doesn't have to show on your pages.
Yes.
Just that it's enabled is enough.
The other solution to mitigate the issue is to remove from your theme, or maybe you don't use it, the message zone from the layout, because this attack is using validation messages to inject script. So if you don't render the messages, you're safe too. I've checked a bunch of websites on the web using Orchard, and most of the time only blogs were vulnerable because they are using comments and because they display the message because they use the theme machine or some related theme. Big websites usually have their own theme. Usually they don't render messages or they don't use comments at all. But yeah, you be safe patching your instances. Any question? So please, guys, don't tweet right now because we have not announced it officially on the website. Please wait.
Said that first.
Yeah, you should just wait for us to publish the pages and blog about it, so you can point directly to the patches and everything. And whatever, if you tweet, what will you explain? You don't even know patch is about, and I would like you to try to find what the issue is, just to see if you can make it based on the change set. It will be hard. Yeah, so we'll announce it officially in the next hour. I haven't patched my website yet, just for you to know that.
Oh, so I can attack you.
Yeah, attack me, but I won't click on any button on any website I don't know, so it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I can display an alert on your website.
That's it.
Yeah.
If I click on the button.
No, I can display an alert on your website.
Oh yeah, you can do
my
it.
machine.
Great.
Prevent users from commenting on a closed thread by hijacking the commented on property. Would that be the?
That's not this one. So this one was opened by Zoltan or Benedek, I can't remember, one of the two. It was like 6 months ago.
Is it about the methods not being validated?
And
actually, good luck finding the chance.
Yeah, good luck.
Trivial.
So let me push right now I can show you the change set. So the change set, fixing email validation, and you see in the command controller now each field is validated one by one. Okay? Of relying on an automatic notification of why the model is invalid. So good luck. Well, good luck. You see the code, but still good luck. This has nothing to do with the comment on issue that Zoltan has opened 6 months ago, which was about being able to comment on another thread than the one for which the form is generated, because the comment on was not validating against the if the comments were closed or not. This one is already, it was a bug which is fixed in 1.x since the rewrite of the comments module, but this has nothing to do with that. This is not a security this the same kind of security issue. This was okay. You can post a comment on another thread. Okay, good. Yep. So, more questions? Should we go on with the standard schedule then?
Yeah. I have a question actually. Are we replacing 1.6 as a release?
Yes.
After all? Okay.
Yes. There won't be any more 1.6.0. It won't be available.
Oh, so for a short while, WebPI will have the wrong signature.
For a couple hours. We need to update the WebPI too. Yeah, people won't be able to download through WebPI. Yeah, it will fail.
Are you handling that?
Yes.
Okay.
That's why I say it should be a couple hours, so it should be okay. People will complain on the forums and whatever, but that's for their own safety.
Oh, by the way,
download this thing.
Sebastian, I think maybe the dynamic compilation fix should be included in 1.6.1.
No, we thought about this thing, and we prefer not to put anything more than the security fix. Okay. At first, I had added this one and another one, but this one is just for security reasons, just for safety about what we ship. And maybe there is another bug we didn't see because of this this compilation thing, and this would be a mess. So no, that was for safety.
Okay.
But I wouldn't have disagreed with you for some time, because I initially had also included this one, but after some I thought no, just focus on why we ship 161 security. That's it.
Okay.
So in other matters, this week has been a bug fixing week. I think I counted like 18 bug fixed, and also lots of pull requests from outside guys. Small stuff, but sometimes also interesting. So workflows, issue with the JavaScript binding. So media library bug fixes also based on the feedback. What else? Performance improvements. So now the content, not the content type definitions. Actually, this is I messed up with a bug. So I'm caching now the content types themselves in a request using the level 1 caching. And also there is another related fix, which is not using the in operator to load content types when there is only one content type, but use the equal operator. It won't fix a lot of things, but that might be important for indexes. So external contribution, adding a view content type permission. So this was missing on the menus, so that you could see the content definition menu, but even though you don't have access to it. So when clicking on the link, you will go to an access denied exception. Issue, okay, duck typing issue. When, very nice feature in Orchard that I have forgotten about. I don't even remember when I knew about it. So the idea is that if you have a shape and you assign this shape to an interface, it will cast the shape to this interface automatically if it has all the properties of the, even if it doesn't have all the properties of the interface, but then we'll be able to access the properties of the shape based on the interface. For instance, in this one, you see this code. Just look at the, no, not this one. Where is this code? Yeah, you see here, model.content is a shape. Okay, the content shape. And because it's a content shape, it has a content item property. And what happens here is that it's passed automatically to the item edit link, which requires an iContent object. So this shape is converted automatically to an iContent object. This was broken, so now it's fixed again.
Well, in this case, what's in the content item property of content actually implements that interface, right? So it's a little different.
No.
It doesn't?
It does, but item edit link takes an iContent object, and we are passing a shape. So here, the content, which is a shape, is casted to an iContent. And then inside item edit link, it says dot content item. Here, it was a temporary fix from Sipke to fix the issue. It's still going to pass an iContent, okay, which is a content item. And content item is an iContent, which iContent property is returning itself. So the bug was not to fix the exception, but was to actually implement duck typing in the shapes, which was in Clay named interface behavior.
Yeah, the implementation of that is interesting. It's using Castle to create a dynamic proxy.
Yep.
Which is a concrete class implementing the interface that proxies the dynamic object.
So this is the unit test, for instance. So animal is a composite. Composite is the base class for shape now in the Clayless branch, and I have a nice sized interface with the size property. And what I do is I instantiate a shape. So this is a shape, okay, foo, and I say size equals 42. Okay, so the shape has a property, like dynamic property of type of a name size. And now I can cast foo to a nice sized object and check that this object has the size of 42. So using the interface. So when size is called on the dynamic object, then it will be intercepted and converted to a high-sized call. And the implementation is this one. It's not a trivial implementation. It's safe in terms of performance because it only happens if you cast to an interface. So when it tries to convert the shape, it first, so there is an updated code. So it will first try to convert it to an enumerable. Then if you try to convert it to an interface, then it will create a dynamic proxy on this interface and intercept all the calls on this proxy and map the interface call to the dynamic object calls. Interesting. By the way, in the clayless branch now you have it was already there, but I don't know why it's green here. On a clay object, on a shape object, you have access to a properties property, which contains all the dynamic properties which have been added to it.
Oh, that's nice.
This was in a clayless branch, and yeah, I remembered it when Nick asked me how to get all the zones of zone shape.
Very nice.
I was about to write it, and I found it. Oh, it's there already, because I needed it for the shape tracing. So reflection on a shape, good, on a dynamic object. So this fixing the duck typing. Huge work. I included the work from Damien Clark about import-export optimizations. And I tried with a huge file of 4 megabytes, like 1500 content items, which are processed not using 10 megabytes of memory. Like, wow. So I imported like 1500 items and my process was still under 90 megabytes. It went from 80 to 90 megabytes. So that's a very nice work from Damien. And I refactored it to remove some things. I don't know why they were there, but still works. Well, I put some. He has to answer me for that. He's not on Skype those days, so that is great. Yeah, the idea is that the way he was creating. So yeah, let me show you the implementation. Is very interesting for everyone creating modules. So whenever you do change the identity of a metadata, for instance, in the identity, where is the content handler? Content handler. So no, not this one. Identity part handler. So the identity part is supposed to create a new property with an identity value. So what it does is when it gets the metadata somewhere, you see assign an identity, it will provide the identifier property of the content item. So it's a UID. Okay, let's give a technical identity to this thing. And what you need to do when you provide such an identity is to create where is it? An resolver selector, which will let you define an identifier. Where is it? Identity resolver. Okay. And this identity resolver is responsible for getting a content item based on a specific identity. The selector is here just to imply some priority on the identity resolvers. For instance, if you take a page, you could have the alias part and the identifier part. They will both provide an identity. But the alias part might be more important to get the identity than the identifier. So the alias resolver selector has a lower priority, which means it will be taken first. So this resolver will try to resolve an identity before anyone else. So if you have an alias, it will try to find the identity based on the alias. Otherwise, it will fall back to the identifier. Otherwise, it will say, okay, there is no identity for anything here I can load, so let's create it. And what does a resolver do is just about, when it's called by the importer, is just to say, oh, is there a content item corresponding to the one I'm currently importing? And for the alias, in specific, here it will just load the content item based on the auto route part. So there is no more about loading every content item in a database to find a content item. Mm-hmm. It's about picking the correct one if it's there. So for instance, if you just import new items, none of the existing content items will be loaded. In the previous version, if you just import new items, all current content items would have been loaded first. So that explains why it's now much faster and takes less memory. Next step is to work on the schedule of pushing change sets or publication sets, whatever it's called, to a remote instance. So to be able to communicate between two instances to send data. Bug fixed by Sipke. Stanley Goldman, who is a web dev in New York, did a lot of work on specific bug fixes and for media and for other stuff. This guy, I don't know what his real name, Jackie or Two Meetings, published a fix for the blog archive. I also fixed the use CDN because crazy as it might sound, it didn't work because of me, because of the code I introduced in some earlier versions. So now it's working again. So if you do, for instance, script that require jQuery.useCDN, it will use the CDN version of the jQuery file instead of the local one. Before that, in 1.6, it will always use the local version. I did reCAPTCHA in the admin as requested. So when you edit a content item which has a reCAPTCHA, it won't bother you in the admin. You can already hide it for authenticated users if you want. It's in the settings. Fix the import-export of display name, optimization for loading content types, and fixing the custom forms pagers. So almost like 20 bugs have been fixed this week. So that's good. And this thing. Time is something on the chat. Yes, you're right. I obfuscated the fix. Okay. So usually we will do triaging, but that's that we publish the patch instead. Or is there any demo? Nick, you said you had something to show?
No. I said I got the shape stuff working, but I'd like to get it really looking pretty good once I show it, rather than a massive fail like last week. So, but no, it's pretty cool. I'd like to understand how to do the capture stuff that you showed last week, but I might have to ask you a little bit later on how to do that.
Okay. Shall we reduce the number of proposed bugs to 0?
You mean right now? I was suggesting to not to do that and focus on publishing the fix.
Okay.
Priorities.
Okay, so you want to stop here?
Unless there are questions or demos. That people who care most of our chart are there and know about the security issue, they will just wait for the patch to apply it.
Okay.
So no demos, no questions, guys? Then I will make this meeting shorter than usual and wait for you to apply the patches.
Okay, sounds good.
Thanks everyone, and we'll talk to you next week.
Cheers, guys.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye everyone.